Hey there, I'm Max. I'm a solutions architect here at Validere, and today I'm going to be walking you through how we support the OGMP methane emissions quantification use case through our product. Now, this is going to begin with the creation of a hierarchical, entirely configurable asset inventory, starting with sites or facilities, which are categorized by site type, a customizable attribute where we're grouping sites into groups that we expect to have similar emissions profiles. Now, clicking into one of these, I can see the equipment associated with this site. And on these equipment, I am able to ingest record data, which then is used to inform the bottoms-up emissions factor-based quantification. So for this heater treater as an example, we can see that we're using fuel volume to quantify emissions as an output. And I can actually run this calculation on this individual piece of equipment to get our estimated emissions output for the bottoms-up subpart W style OGMP level 3 quantification. Now, these calculations can be done for individual pieces of equipment for individual time periods, or they can be done in bulk for many different pieces of equipment over any arbitrary sets of time periods. And we can run these calculations in parallel. We can also export the results of these calculations or override them by importing calculated results from outside of the product. And in addition to this record data that we're seeing here that feeds these calculations and is returned as outputs of these calculations, we also have measurement data. So clicking into one of these devices, a methane sensor on one of our facilities, we can see that over the course of a month period, we can visualize multiple data series and understand as time series data being ingested into the platform, either as a bulk upload or pulled directly through one of our data integrations from the measurement device itself. Now, the results of those bottoms-up emission factor-based quantification approaches that I was showing a moment ago are first and foremost used to give a summary of the emissions profile that we have for our company across all the different site types and source types and break down our emissions based on these two dimensions. The results of that emissions overview are then used to inform a materiality analysis, where a sampling coverage framework, and in this case, we're using the one from the OGMP 2.0 guidance document, alongside a set of configurable parameters, is used to provide a recommended sample count minimum for each source type and site type combination, as well as each site type for the OGMP level 5 quantification. And the sampling plan that's determined here can then be tracked over the course of a year. And we have a comparison between the recommended sample count and the actual number of measurements or samples taken by site type and source type to identify any issues or areas where additional sampling may be required to meet the minimum at both the emission source type and the site type level. Now, the results of those measurements or those samples are used to create these EEDs, or expected emissions distributions, where the measurements taken at either at the site level, as we're seeing here, or at the emission source level, which we have separately, are used to inform the average emissions rate, as well as the associated uncertainty with that emissions rate by site type and then also by source type. And these numbers are extrapolated out to the entire source populations to get the OGMP level 4 and level 5 quantified results. Finally, the results from the OGMP level 3 bottoms-up emissions-based quantification methodology and the level 4 and level 5 measurement-based methodologies can be compared in this measurement-informed inventory reconciliation tab, where we can see the comparison of the different quantified amounts, as well as the associated uncertainty with the measurement-based amounts, either in aggregate or for an individual site. We can also see an attribution of the uncertainty across the different emission source types, as well as a log of non-routine emissions events submitted through the platform to understand any potential sources of discrepancies between the various different OGMP quantification levels. Now, that concludes the walkthrough of the OGMP reporting implementation. Thank you very much for watching, and please contact us at Validere if you'd like to learn more about our product and how we can support your use cases and help you get the most out of your data.